Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm getting everything set up and we are live. Let's see here. All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello. Hi, Joy. I see you popping on. As you come on today, just drop in the comments where you're joining from. Hey, Daisy, drop in the comments where you're joining from and go down to the bottom right corner and hit that triangle to share. Share with someone in your network, share with a friend to get up and join you this morning. I'm so glad to see you all popping on. I'm going to give us a little bit of time to get people notified that we are live, and then we'll get started. All right. So we are in a series on elevating your executive presence. I see that you're at the gym on the treadmill, Joy. I'm glad that I can be a piece of that motivation this morning as you are knocking out your health goals. I do see you, and I'm proud of you, sis. So, as other people are starting to pop in, I love to start on time for a lot of reasons, but mainly because I value your time and the mornings are just really busy. So, after I do these lives, and I'm committed to hanging in there with y'all, doing these lives every morning at 7 a.m. for this week and next week. But after that, I get into the day getting kids ready for school, making breakfast, doing all the mom things. And then I pop back into work. Hello. Thank you for joining. I see you, Bronze Bella. Hello. If you can drop in the chat where you are located, where are you joining us from today? I'd love to know where we are connecting. All right. So let's hop in. In this series, we've been talking about elevating your executive presence, speaking about this concept, not so much about respectability politics. I said that in the beginning. This is not about how to take a marginalized group of people to break away from our cultural norms to fit into the majority, their beliefs, their ideals, the way that they think we should talk, dress. No, we knocked out very early that there are these critical 4 C's for executive presence. Those 4 C's include confidence, communication, connection, and character. This all ties back into the ways in which we're able to communicate with others, to elevate our values, our vision, to influence people and teams. So, as I discuss those things, I want to take a quick second to introduce myself to those of you who are joining today and we have not gotten the chance to meet. I'm Carlisha Bradley. I'm an award winning executive leader and a high performance women's leadership coach. To date, my work has impacted the career trajectory, salary earning, and public speaking careers of over 9,000 women in 23 countries. To date, just last year, from our work at Amplify for Women, we helped women to bring in $250,000 of revenue in public speaking income. We supported social impact organizations in gaining $500,000 of revenue to support their social causes and to propel their work forward. So, my sweet spot, what I'm deeply passionate about, is elevating the executive presence of women, of organizations, of social impact orgs to grow on their journey in their brand and their business development and growth because of the ways that they're able to communicate and connect with the promise of what they offer. So that is something that I absolutely love to do. That's a little bit about who I am. And as I come into this stream today, we're talking about executive leadership. We're talking about how to say no. And I will tell you, I did not always get this right. I'm speaking to you from a place of pain, of past pain, and purpose in ensuring that you get these essential elements early on your journey so that you can be set up for success. Hey, Kaylin, I see you. Hey, Prima Donna, thanks for joining. It's great to see you ladies with me this morning. Hello, Don. If you want to share this video, we're just getting started. If you click that share button, share that with someone in your network so that they can join us in this conversation this morning. This topic is one of the most requested that I have when I do public speaking engagements. When I did the Black Women in Leadership series last month, this was the video that had the highest shares, comments, replies, DMs, further questions. So today I'm going to unpack this in a different way that allows for us to go deeper, especially with some free tools that I've provided. And we'll talk about that a bit more. So for me on my executive leadership journey, when I started, I talked about this earlier in the series that many of us in C-suite leadership or founders or especially social impact leaders, we got to this seat in this role because we were working hard, we're deeply passionate about the vision. You may be the type of person like I was, you're going to work 10 times as hard, you stay late, you come early in the morning, and you're not doing this work for praise, you're doing it because you're deeply connected to the purpose. But when you were an individual contributor, when you were the person who was not necessarily responsible for the vision setting, the fundraising, the branding, the marketing, all of the things for your organization, it was easy to sit in that role and to find joy in those pieces. However, in executive leadership, what got you to that seat is not going to be what gets you to the next level. If you are an early stage founder, you're entering into leading an organization on your own, you've built this, you've been a solopreneur, but you want to hire a team, there's a whole nother set of skills that are required to get you to the next level. And this conversation today is deeper than, just understanding like how to say no. It is why it is essential for you to learn this skill set to elevate your executive presence and to grow your business and to grow your brand. So if you're someone who has challenges saying no, has challenges setting boundaries, just put "that's me" in the chat. There's some of you who have joined and I already know that's you. So I'm waiting for you to put "that's me" in the chat, because I used to be right there. I used to have problems saying no. And especially as the executive leader who wanted for people to feel that I'm going to be in the trenches with you. There is nothing that I'm going to ask you to do that I would not do myself, right? And so, as thanks for Bronze Bella, that's you. That's me too, sis. It's me. It was me. It was me before I implemented what I'm going to tell you about today. Kaylin, that's you. I see you, Joy. And I know that's you, sis. I know it's you. But after we unpack these principles today, this is going to take you to the next level. So you may be an executive leader who's like, I want to get the joy back in what I was doing. I used to love this work, but I'm so bogged down in all of these other tasks. If you're someone who wants to be able to communicate more clearly about the impact that you're having in your work and in your role and to your teams to influence them to drive results, and you also are realizing like I don't have time for the things that really matter, the things that I'm really supposed to be doing. I don't have time to get those things done. So, how do you take this step? How do you make this decision to begin to set these boundaries, to say no so that you can get back to that deeper yes? The deeper yes of the vision setting, the branding, the casting that slate for what is the next level of your organization. How do you get there? So, the first step in taking that bold, courageous step to say no, to begin to cut off these pieces that you've just been doing because you knew as a founder, as an executive leader, I'm the one that can do it. This is on my plate. Your first step is to refer to your North Star for your role. Your role. Now, this is where you separate your position from the organization, from the business. Like, think about in your role, what is your vision of success? What do you personally, in the seat that you sit in, hope to accomplish that only you can in your role? So that's the first thing. Like you need a North Star, you need a vision of success for your role. The second piece is to evaluate the elements of your role that can only be done by you. only be done by you, right? So as you're making this list, you can put it on a piece of paper like, hey, here's all of the things that are in my position. Here are the things that only I can do. This third step is the step that most people miss. They look at that list and they say, okay, here's the things that only I can do. The rest I'm going to delegate. Yep, you could delegate, but if you don't do step three, your delegation is going to lead to you throwing that ball out to your team and snatching it right back. How many of you are people who will give people something and you're like, it was easier for me to do it myself. It was easier for me to do it myself. If that's you, drop some hearts on this video because I know I've seen it. I've seen how, as leaders, we can delegate these tasks, and then you tell yourself, see, I never should have done that because they didn't do it right. They just didn't do it right. But the reason why, I see the hearts, the reason why they were not able to execute to the highest level is because you did not do step number three. So, number one, I told you to refer to your North Star and your vision of success for your role, not just for the organization. As C suite leaders, as founders, we can talk a lot about the organization and not talk enough about what success looks like in our position. Number two is to evaluate elements of your role that can only be done by you. So we're making priorities of what has to be a yes for us. Number three, before you go and delegate, you need to make your thinking clear. You have to train your team on how you make decisions. You need to make your thinking clear. So we're going back to these principles of executive presence that I've been talking about in this series. Communication. How are you communicating your vision and how are you able to make your thinking clear? Before you delegate, an essential part of building a team is the onboarding process and the continuing nurturing and development of your team. When you just give them tasks and you come back with, nope, that's not going to work. Nope, that's not going to work. Not only are you taking hits to the culture of your team, but you're also in this space where, they're confused. They don't know what you're wanting to have done. They're not really sure. I have this ability now in my leadership. Now, y'all, back in the day, I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated because I felt like I had to keep taking the work back. I'm going to just do it myself. I'll do it myself. I ended up burnt out. I was unhappy. Culture was terrible. And I wasn't growing leaders. If you are really trying to get to focus as an executive leader on your deeper yes, you've got to cultivate the leadership of your team. And one way to do that is to make your thinking clear and be compelling in your communication so that they can begin making decisions at the same level that you would. Now, our last thing, the last step that you need to take is to align that communication about your thinking, about the work that you're doing with your values and beliefs. Again, when you're talking about compelling communication, helping people to understand your why are you doing this? Why are we doing this work? Is to be able to align that to your values. I talked heavily about values in the first video. If you missed it, go back and watch it. But I also gave out a free resource to help you begin to unpack your values, to align that to the lifestyle and how you lead, how you show up at home, how you show up in your life, but also to ground it in principles that I'll be coaching on in this series. So if you missed that video, but you want the tool, just comment values in the chat right now. You can comment values and that resource will be sent to your inbox. It is an easy to use template. It's not a PDF. It's a Google Doc that you can start typing in right away to use and make your own. So comment values if you did not get a chance to access that resource. All right. So we went through these steps that you need to take to make this decision about moving to delegate, to set boundaries, but I'm going to walk you through these three essential questions that you're going to ask to figure out what stays on your plate, what is your deeper yes, and what are you about to start saying no to, okay? So we're going through these three key questions. And as you all are listening today, if you have questions for me, feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat. I'll walk back through and go through those at the end. All right. So, your three questions for you to implement this, for you to implement referring to your North Star, evaluating what in your role can only be done by you, for you to make your thinking clear, for you to align to your values, you're going to ask yourself three key questions to implement. The first question is, what do I love doing? What do I love doing? What is it about this job, this role, this organization that I've built from the ground up that lights me on fire? You need to know this. You're going to journal this, have out a piece of paper. I mentioned to y'all and everyone that I'm a tech girl, so I generally have my notes app on my phone, but figure out what is it that you love doing in this work. The second question, which I talked to you about earlier, what must be done and can only be done by me? So this is going to be the question that's the one where it's like, okay, this might not be aligned to what I just really love about this. But if I'm taking this organization to the next level, if I am really knocking my role out of the park, these are the things that I'm going to have to do. And the last question is, well, what should be delegated? You've gone through this list, you've gone through these steps. What can I delegate to my team? But as you get ready to delegate, I mentioned to you the key step, the one thing that I want for you to really be sure before you go and put this in action is that as you're delegating, you know how to communicate and making your thinking clear. Why is this important? But also, why is this important to the organization? Why is this the way that you're leading and giving them this work as a leader? A lot of times, when I have not made my thinking clear, it leads to that silent frustration, whether it's on my part, whether it's on the part of the people that I'm managing. But when I really take the time to step back, to communicate in a values aligned way, my team knows what I value. They know what I believe in. They know why I ask for certain things. And they also know that there's nothing that they do that I would not do, but they also understand why I'm not doing it, because it frees me up to focus on these bigger components that allow for our organization to grow, for the work that we're doing to propel further, and for the impact to expand. So, as an executive leader, when you're elevating your executive presence, today we really honed in on this ability to communicate and also to connect and character. We touched on like a lot of the principles of executive presence, but really, for you to grow and go to the levels in which you want to in your career, you are going to have to understand the principle of saying no. Sis, you can't be superwoman. You cannot be superwoman and have time to show up holistically, fully, personally, and professionally, and be the type of leader that you want to be. Rest is essential, but also growing the leadership of other people around you is a critical component of being an excellent executive leader. So today we walked through how to say no to get to your deeper yes. Tomorrow, we're going to be coming back again, and I'm talking to you about the secret to building influence and being remembered for your public speaking. So, again, this series is all on executive presence, how to elevate your executive presence, walking you through steps, tools, and resources. If you missed and hopped on late, comment values in the chat so that you can access the free tool and resource from Amplify for Women. It is one that will ground you in the work that we're doing throughout this 9-part series. Amplify for Women is launching our Elevate cohort here in a couple of months. And this is an accelerator cohort and program for women who are looking to elevate their executive presence and launch into public speaking to build influence for their business, for their teams, and to grow organizations. It is for women who are leaders of leaders or founders of organizations who are looking for a compelling group coaching experience to be in company of like-minded trailblazing women. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to shoot me a DM. And you can also access more information with the link in our bio. But I cannot wait to see you all tomorrow. I am checking the comments really quick. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. And I will see you same time, same place tomorrow morning for part 4. We're on part 4. I'll see you soon. Be sure to invite a friend and can't wait to see you all back. Bye.